Hello and welcome. My name is Nepolis and this is Literally Graphic. And today I'm touching on my initial thoughts of a new to me manga series, Yona of the Dawn. Story and art by Mizuho Kusanagi. This manga series was originally published in Haku Sensha's shoujo magazine, Hana to Yumi, from August 2009 to present-ish. It was also adapted into an anime from October 2014 to March 2015. This English translation started being published in 2016 by Viz Media. While this manga could likely fit into a couple of different categories in Manga Hoarder's Challenge, I'm using it this year for challenge number 43, a manga from a genre that you rarely never read from. Mizuho Kusanagi was born in Kumamoto, Japan, and loves drawing, has a super fetish for voices, prefers vegetables to meat, and says her favorite movies are anything by Miyazaki, The Sound of Music, and Lord of the Rings. And despite the fact that my library only carries Yona of the Dawn, she's also worked on Game X Rush, Mugen Spiral, NG Life, Kuruhime to Kawaki no U, and Yoko no Kokoro. Please excuse my lack of pronunciation skills. An adventure fantasy romance manga, Yona of the Dawn is officially described thusly. Princess Yona lives in an ideal life as the only princess of her kingdom, doted on by her father, the king, and protected by her faithful guard, Hack. She cherishes the time spent with the man she loves, Suwon. But everything changes on her 16th birthday when she witnesses her father's murder. Yona reels from the shock of witnessing a loved one's murder and having to fight for her life. With Hack's help, she flees the palace and struggles to survive while evading her enemy's forces. But where will this displaced princess go when all the paths before her are uncertain? Initially a pretty low-key love triangle, it wasn't until the plot twist that's mentioned in the summary about a third of the way through this first volume that things got interested. A bit overwrought, the art style is pretty true to the genre, at least from my somewhat ignorant vantage point. Untouched by any of the dark and gritty trends that are sweeping through most genres, Yona of the Dawn Volume 1 is fairly innocent. There's some action and killing, but it's not visually lingered on. Court intrigue, that may become more complicated later, is still rather tell not show so far. This tone is certainly helped by the fact that we keep jumping back and forth between the present when the characters are in their late teens to their early teens and prepubescent childhoods, where characters are understandably pretty innocent. How is gender and sexuality treated in this volume? All characters appear to be pretty quote-unquote normal, although the only villain may end up being queer-coded, so a modicum of complication, I suppose. Gender is also fairly standard so far, with tough guys and damsels in distress. Not surprising, but another reason I'm not super excited to continue. Race plays a slightly more interesting role in this volume, mostly just because the main character has red hair, which makes me think a bit about the ways in white whiteness and westernness, as it were, interest many manga creators. Not that I have anything really to say on that, just that I thought about it. Class is both touched on and not touched on. Obviously, as a court intrigue piece, there is more awareness of who is equal and unequal to the princess, but people so far have anything that they've ever want or need. This is one intersection that is likely to change, although I guess it could not. And to conclude, while this book is certainly not horribly unskilled, and there's certainly a market for it, because again, all of my criticisms thus far have been things that are fairly standard for the romance genre, which I don't want it to mean at all. I don't think it's a book for me right now, mostly, but there's certainly a lot of people who enjoy it out there, so maybe check out some of their reviews and read it for yourself. Bye y'all, keep reading and resist fascism. And as always, I would like to acknowledge that for the most part, all of my videos are filmed and produced on the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit, an Anishinaabe people, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Huron-Wendat Nation, land covered by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant.